My biggest
great.
concern was I had a really okay, well, let's just do it. I had a really large...
Hi, Wildies. I'm Matt. This is Hayley.
Hi.
Very excited to have you here, Hayley.
Yeah.
You're everywhere at the moment. Like, you're on TV, you're on
rash.
radio.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm a rash and I'm spreading.
Fair enough. Where will people have seen you or heard you?
Well, I won Taskmaster New Zealand last year.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I hosted Bake Off, which is like a global brand.
Yep.
I've done a bunch of comedy and hosting and TV and whatnot, but I'm also the co-host of Sex.Life, which of course...
Very excited to talk to you about all of Sex.Life.
I know. And the sexual, like kind of, I don't know if it's like wellness or like liberation journey I've been on came off the pill, got horny, thought, oh my God, what a nice feeling. This is literally the best feeling of my life.
Yep.
Coinciding with Morgan Penn asking me to co-host a podcast with her, where she was like blowing my mind every day with things that she had done.
Yep.
And it kind of went from there.
Your role in the podcast is really more of the straight-laced vanilla one to start with. To Morgan's, more pleasure-seeking, kink-exploring persona. Is that true to life, or is that more what you took on to make the podcast work?
No, everything we do is authentic.
Yep.
So there's no performance there.
Yep.
I actually thinking about where I'm at today,
Yep.
and thinking about Ep 1, Season 1,
Yep.
I'm like, I need to go back and see the journey in myself from me being like jaw on the floor that Morgan was humping the ground or was like giving a blowjob in public, or that she was asking me to put a butt plug in and then report back to the, a million people about how I found it.
Yep.
And how I was like, oh, Morgan, like, I don't know. Oh. To now would have been like, yep, what size? Yep, let's do it.
I was actually, one of the things I did have down to ask you was about the home plays and going, was there ever one that came up where you were like, nah, not ever, not doing that, not doing it for the podcast, no?
There's two that immediately come to mind.
Yeah.
I think they might have both been from Season 1. Again, when I was a little bit more sexually conservative. One was the heart fucking, where you had to...
Imagine the big
imagine the
phallus.
thing and like with someone, and I with my partner was like, hey, we just can't do it. Like we're just not going to take it seriously. So luckily I found a friend of mine who's like a hippy dippy yogi person, and I was like, heart fuck me. So that was good. The other one was when I had to put on the leather cat.
I literally listened to that yesterday.
Yeah, and I was like, okay. And I took it too literally. I wasn't being sexy. I was like full drama school role playing, like, meow, and it like wasn't, I kind of missed the brief on it. But those were the two that I was like.
We've broken James.
That's really funny. Sorry, that's really funny.
I literally was listening to that in the car yesterday on my way back from swimming.
Oh, honestly, I was trying so hard to throw myself all in to the home play because I think it's important. And
absolutely.
And I think people listening to it, they need to know that, like, I'm not also an expert in these things. I'm the audience. Like, I'm just the one asking the questions.
And also, it's okay to not always like something or get it wrong, quote unquote, or go, this isn't for me.
Yes,
that's
exactly.
absolutely fine.
And I think that's the whole thing. Like, often you don't know until you've done it. So why be like, oh, I'm not going to be a cat.
Yeah.
I might get down on my hands and knees with my cat mask on and be like, oh, I'm a fucking cat.
I was going to say, have you touched the furries yet?
No, I haven't touched furries yet, though I did go to my first undie party.
Oh, wow.
And I went with Morgan and
our
friend, and I did look at the leather cat mask and think, if there was ever a time, it's now. But I didn't put it on.
Yeah, I've never been to an undie party. I've jumped straight to the nude ones, so
Yeah, okay. I was about to say, like, oh, you should, but okay, you've gone further.
Yeah.
I feel like once you go, because they're like levels, and I feel like once you go to the undie party, which they say like is level 1, you immediately want to go to level 3.
Well, the thing is, the undie parties for my community are always billed as the beginner-friendly early nights, and I've always been to the other ones. So it's like,
yeah. Why go back?
Through the jockstrap drawer.
yeah. I'm sure I've got something in here somewhere. So an undie party is like, it's like you go to it's often hosted at sex clubs or places that are like...
Or anywhere on Smith Street.
Yeah, right.
Sorry, that's the gay venues for everyone who doesn't know.
Okay, right. And the undie party is just like going to a club with no clothes on but your undies.
Yeah.
So the only rule, but there's no
shoes.
like...
And you need to have shoes.
You need shoes, you can't wear anything that you go to a normal club in, and there's no overt like sex acts happening.
Depending on the undie party.
Depending on the party. My party had,
Yeah.
well, I didn't notice anything.
My one, you could, but in discreet corners that they blocked off so that it's not in full view. And that's the same one with the naked ones.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's sex wherever you want, sometimes it's can you please go into the designated area before you start bumping?
Yeah, totally.
Depends on the party.
I think the one I went to was, want to learn about undie putty? Now you're
Riley?
Interested.
Hi, Riley.
The one I went to, I think, was like chill.
Yeah, it
The
completely
gals could go.
varies. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm definitely got to go to another one. My
Sounds
biggest
great.
concern was I had a really big... Okay, well, let's just do it. I had a really large pimple on my ass.
Oh, right, yep.
Just, you know, one of those ones that just comes up and you're like,
Yep.
what
Where
the
did it come
hell
from?
is
I'm
this?
too old for this.
Yeah, like, are you upset with me? Like, did I sit too long? And I said to Morgan, because I was wearing this like G thing, and I said to her, I was like, before we leave this hotel, you have to put concealer on this. I was like, I'm just, once you get there, you're like,
no one
gives a
cares.
fuck.
But before,
Yeah, I was like, we're gonna put concealer on it. Then I had about 5 espresso martinis. And then I sort of woke up the next day and was like, oh God, we didn't cover the pimple. So that was just like out the whole night.
well, the funny thing is, you can ask the guys about this, or maybe ask your gay friends about this. But if they shave, stubble rash down there,
totally.
not great.
Yeah. And then you mix it with the sweat of the club. Morgan said she looked over at me at one point, again, just to emphasise the espresso martinis I had. She's like, it looked like you'd gone for a shower.
Oh my
I was
God.
that wet with sweat. My
God.
hair was like dripping. I was just like, oh. But yeah, if you had shave rash and the sweat, no good.
it's a thing. Anyway, well, we've gone on a right turn away from all the questions that I had prepared. One thing I did want to ask is, during the podcast, you encouraged people to report in on if they tried the home play and how that worked. Did you get a lot of people messaging about stuff?
So many.
Yeah.
Like, actually unbelievable. And even since we've had a bit of a delay from season 2 to season 3, which we can talk about soon.
Yeah, well, season 3, guys,
You heard it here. I still get DMs. And I mean, Morgan gets more because people want to ask her the questions of like, what the... But we get so many DMs all the time.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty amazing.
What is it like to know that you've touched that many lives, both in New Zealand, Australia, and I'm assuming around the world now?
Yeah. Do you know, if you had asked me that question a couple of years ago, I would have been like, oh, you know. Now I'm like, oh my God, I see the impact. I really see it. And I've really kind of dropped in with how Morgan thinks about this, about... It's not just some kind of big, spicy, like, podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's really, like, changing people's lives.
Yeah.
And those are the messages we get. So we're not just being like, we're changing lives with no evidence.
Yeah.
People message in about, I listened to this and that helped me release this, or I wanted to try that and I've never thought of it before.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it is an amazing feeling. It's incredible.
So going back to the talk about the big journey, sexual journey that you've been on, what was your level of experience with sex toys, for example, before you jumped on board with Sex.Life?
I think I had the regulars.
Yeah.
Your Satisfier Pros.
Yep.
Yeah, little buzzy boys. A couple of other little things. Anything towards the butt, I was like, we're not doing that. And now I literally arrived in Australia with like a clinking, vibrating sack of glass, rubber, vibrating plug-in. I was saying I had this, before I left New Zealand to come to Australia, I got a multi-board, like, you know, you could put in all the plugs. And it's got all the charges. It's like, I'm not charging on holiday. There's nothing worse than something dying mid-wank. So I was like, everything's charged, everything's clean. Got the glasses in there, the da-da-da in here. Because that's why, because Morgan, oh my God, what's it called? Morgan, as part of season 2, gave me a Wild Secrets toy that was a glass hooked like tentacle thing. And I was like...
I know the one. It's one of the...
It's pink.
It's the curved wand with the tentacle kind of sucker thing on it. It's from Pipe Dream, you know. Yes. It's one of her favourites.
Well, she gave it to me and I was like, not my cup of tea at all. I was like, that's not really me. Oh, God. I mean, that thing, and I have been on a journey. We really... It is number 1. So, like, that's clinking around in the bag. So, The journey was hard and fast from like your regulars to where we're at now.
With that one, what is it about glass? Is it the glass? Is it the shape?
I think it's the like rigidity of it and how much you can manipulate that with your hands.
Yeah, it's surprising. You don't expect it to feel anywhere near as good.
No, I was like, why are you giving me this dud thing? Where's
100%.
the bells and whistles? Where's all the like, where is it? And then now I've made 4 friends by it, including my best friend, who I was like, you've got to add this to the kit, and mine's blind. Yeah, it's my must. It's my number one. It's my number one.
So, how has all of this affected your comedy? Because obviously you're now doing a very reasonably racy show, at least for a Tuesday night.
But racy for a Tuesday, but they survived. I've always been kind of an open book, but I think I've said that, but not really been it.
Sure.
You know, I've always been like, I talk about this, I talk about my body, I talk about these things. But I think now with like the power of comedy to talk about sexuality and my sexual preferences and experiences, I really am walking the walk of being an open book and allowing people to go like, oh wow, like this is all very normal. And I do in my show, and they don't have to answer. I do ask, like, who had a wank today? Like, what are our key words when we're watching pornography or, you know, anything? And I encourage them to be like, me, you know, because we're actually all doing it. Yeah. We are all doing it. We're just not talking about it. Yeah. I even had a chat with my mum who was like, I was a Satisfied Pro. I was like, go mum. Go mum. Go mum.
That's amazing. Go mum. You've mentioned your partner a couple of times on the show, on Sex.Life. What is it like trying to be open, honest, and sharing, but also to a degree protecting his privacy?
We had a conversation about it because I was like, I want to be open about my sex life, and and that's my choice to do so. But my sex life is also partly yours.
Exactly.
So Morgan and I actually had a good chat about it, where I said, look, you know, Aaron wants his privacy and he doesn't want me talking too much, so I'll be able to mention that we've done something, but maybe not all the finer details.
Absolutely.
And then Morgan kind of gears up the home play so that you can do it alone as well.
Yeah,
so exactly. I was like, you either do it with a friend or with a...
It also really helps when there are people listening and they don't have regular partners that they want to go, hey, can you heart fuck me?
Go on Tinder for the night.
Yeah, exactly.
And be like, okay, before we
looking for a very hot heart fucking.
Ideally taller than me, lives locally.
Can imagine a giant phallus.
That ain't happening. So I love that, she made it available for like solo. So often when it was something quite intense, I would do it by myself. And then if it was something silly, like the cat or whatever, I was able to like kind of have fun with it in a way that didn't have to be overtly sexual. And then like protect his privacy and not reveal too much of his life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, he's very accommodating with that. I mean, you have a comedian girlfriend who also co-hosts a sex podcast. Yes. I'm like, you can't limit me too much, you know? So he's kind of used to it at this point.
On the fact that there's a sex podcast, I mean, is it difficult talking about sex on air or, you know, getting your undies off in the studio?
Oh my God. I don't know if I could even explain why, but it's not.
Yeah. Is it the space that you've created? And the people?
I don't know, we're in some like weird inner city studio that has like glass windows and
I've
people
seen the
are there.
videos.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's Morgan. I think the way she has such an open heart is so non-judgmental. She just, I think it's her. She creates the environment. I mean, she often comes into the studio, we light a candle, she spritzes some bloody energy spray that I'm like, okay. You know, like she kind of sets the tone with all of that and is very inviting. Yeah. And of course, at the top of season 1, I had a yoni mapping session with her. So we'd already broken through a lot of like shameful, you know, barriers between her and I at least. Yeah. So that was like, kind of fine when I've danced naked in front of her.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Tell me about producer Helen, because she gets mentioned quite a bit, but we don't know an awful lot about producer Helen.
Producer Helen is part of our Empowered Poussoirs Pose, and she's incredible. Like, I didn't know her before this. She's been on a breast cancer journey.
Oh, wow. Oh, no, I remember that. Yes.
Yeah, because when we got out season 2, our Bits and Pieces cast, she got her one breast cast.
I remember that.
And I didn't expect it. I thought the producer would it would be me and Morgan, and the producer would just sit over there. And I thought it would be kind of a passive role, but we ended up it's just the nature of the content. You end up getting so close together, and you just decide we're all sharing everything.
Yeah.
So she's amazing. I mean, like, the things we tell each other off air are almost a podcast in themselves, you know?
So one of the clips you have on social media about your show, about Wild Flutters, is about centaurs. Why centaurs?
Because, okay, when I got into reading smart, I just went your classics. I started fantasy and I was like, this is way too weak for me. Let's freak it up a bit. Then I got into like mafia stuff, and I read some of the sports shit for a while, and I was like, not really for me. And then I learned about this whole kind of subgenre of like monster smart. And I was like, okay, what's happening here? And someone, what was the book? I can't remember the title. Sent me one about a centaur in a forest.
Right, okay.
And I read it and I was like, not for me, but also so horny. And I was like, this is odd. This is an odd feeling for me to be reading about this and be like, that's hot. That horseman's kind of hot.
And I can always tell that my partner's walking past the bedroom looking in being like, look at that, eh? Got me a smart one. No, my dude, I'm in here getting railed by a centaur called, like, Pentagon or something. That's the shit you like, isn't it? I'm not reading Shantaram, I'm getting Shanta-slammed by a half-horse, half-man who keeps calling me a good girl, and I like it!
On that note, we've got something for you.
Oh, gosh. In trots a man?
Well, unfortunately not, but
oh, my goodness.
here you go.
Oh my God.
There is a card. You do have to look at the card first.
Oh my God, I was always raised, you got to read the card first.
Yes.
When I see a kid tearing into a present without reading the card, good vibes. A gift of love, hope you have the best day from your darling Pentagon. That's the character I created in my show.
Yeah, we know.
My centaur Pentagon. I'm nervous. What could Pentagon send me? Oh, wow. Squirting silicone. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. What do you put in it?
Well, if you check the bag again.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. Jizz. Of course you put jizz in it. Comes. Oh, my God. I'm going to put this to the test. Hang on.
The smell by itself could be they do tend to smell reasonably strong.
As it should for easy shipping.
It's fairly concentrated. We let our team actually sniff some of that, or it was a different one that we did end up stocking, and it was so strong, people pulled faces. It was
too
very
cummy.
exciting. It was too cummy. It was far too cummy. That sort of weird ammonia bleach smell that sometimes, it was that on steroids.
Oh, here we go. Okay, it's not an offensive cum.
That's good.
Wow, okay, hang on. Can I open the box?
Of course you can.
What's mine? Oh my gosh. I'm just like, how big is this thing, you know?
I think that one's 8 or 9 inches, I think.
Okay.
I think.
You know I have to get this on a plane back to New Zealand.
Oh, yep. It's going to be great.
She says as if she doesn't have a fucking suitcase.
Well, I mean, the good news about that one is it doesn't buzz as far as I know.
All my other ones do. Oh my God, you know, once I went, just while I'm opening this, because I'm very inelegant at opening. Once I was in a improv night.
Yep.
And I was improvising with this improv troupe. And we were all being like, ha, hey, ho, warming up.
Yeah.
And then you just heard this like, and I had a little bullet vibrator in my handbag. We'd be going the whole time.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Oh, I can feel it. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. You pump it full of jizz.
Yes, you do.
And it's, oh my God.
It's got a suction cup.
Wow. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. We considered coming to the show and giving it to you then, but we thought, no, we'll give it to her while she's here.
I feel like I want to like stick it on my keyboard for the show and just have it
do
there.
it, please.
He's really got a lot of shape.
Yeah.
Now this is what, in the meeting I had with Morgan at the cafe that the guy overheard, she always talked about slurping up the balls. I mean, everyone wants to know what were her techniques in that famous blowjob
Apparently
in season
slurping up the
1.
balls.
Just don't neglect the balls, whatever you do. Don't just leave them hanging there, neglected.
Although, you know, ask, because...
Very hard to film.
We love you, James. I was going to say...
You're doing the Lord's work, darling.
Do be careful with the balls, because some people are much more sensitive than others.
I know, you've got to check with your partner.
You do have to check.
Yeah. You're right, actually. That's a good point. Slurp him up if he wants him to be slurped up. Wow.
And tell him that he should tell you, but most guys will.
Gee, don't stay quiet when it comes to the balls.
No.
Wow, this is something.
Yep. It's definitely something.
I just love that I said, what do you fill it up with? And the answer was, jizz.
I actually regularly get random SMSs or messages from some of my friends going, do you guys have any cum lubes?
Yeah, like...
Because I don't like my current supplier. They've got some issues, and I'm thinking of switching over. Do you guys sell those? I'm like, yes, we've got you covered. It's
we
fine.
literally have everything.
We absolutely do.
Even a...
In the gay community, they don't even say asking for a friend.
No, it's not asking for a friend.
It's straight up.
It's like, no, for me, my personal use.
Oh my God.
No.
So when I say I'm running a new show at the moment, and it's not nearly as racy, but I've got a whole bit about the gays just get it right. Like they're doing...
No one has sex like gay men.
No one has sex like gay men.
No.
The gays, they fuck and they just get it right, and I'm just like, we should learn more. I love it.
Well, we get some of it right, but there's unique challenges.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many unique challenges.
These are rose-tinted glasses for me.
The challenges are different. It's more like the whole, because everyone expects everyone to be hypersexual.
Yes.
Yeah, so if you're not feeling it, or people feel sexually disposable.
Totally, or
there's
like,
the whole...
just want to cuddle.
Yeah, or there's the whole people who want connection don't know how to do it outside of a hookup app.
Yeah, totally.
So there's a lot of lonely men out there who are going, I want more than a blow and go.
Yeah.
But they don't know how to ask for that. They keep going on the same apps, hoping that a blow and go is going to turn into a date.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, so...
But also, you guys are getting laid way more
This
than
is very
straight
true.
people.
This is very true. Every now and again, we get statistics coming up going, yes, your average man has 7 partners throughout their lifetime, and we're all sitting there going, who did you ask?
Sorry?
Who did you ask? Because we're pulling the average way up.
Yeah,
like, way up.
Wait, last month or?
Yeah, is this... I stopped counting it when I hit double digits, so I don't know what I'm at now, so...
Like this financial year?
Yeah.
What are we?
So...
Oh, that's so funny.
It's always funny when those stats come out, you just look at it and go, oh, sweetie.
The courier just walked past.
No, that's actually one of our warehouse crew.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Oh, he knows what he's dealing with.
Well, he was literally dropping off some product that we're not selling for various reasons. Possibly the boxes are damaged. Oh. So there's an entire room that we haven't shown you. That's just full of things, and if you want anything, just please take it. We'll get to that.
I had a 23 kg baggage allowance, and I arrived here with 32 kg.
Do you know what you can do? You can put it in a box and ship it back to yourself.
Do you know what I'm going to do is just ditch my clothes? Toiletries be gone, makeup be gone, clothes, and just come back with this fantastic suitcase full of goodies.
Oh, God. Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a question that you've been dying to answer that no one has asked you in the interview so far?
Oh. The main question, everyone wants to know how big Long Schlong's dick was. Have I seen it?
I mean, compared to this, how's Long Schlong measure up?
I haven't seen it. Morgan doesn't have a photo of it, so only she would be able to...
Has she told you?
Yeah, she's... I can't say.
No, I'm just asking if she's told you. I'm not asking what it is.
She's told me in reference to her arm.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? So she couldn't use her hand. That's all I'll say.
Yep, fair enough.
She couldn't use her hand to show me. She used her arm.
Did she say anything about thickness? The reason I ask, there's a reason I ask this, is because we have Girth Master in stock, who is billed as Australia's thickest boy.
Yes.
So I'm just curious where he measures up vis-a-vis a wine bottle.
Well, I haven't seen the Girth Master
wine
bottle. I follow him.
He's about, look, his replica's about that thick. So,
Have we got one in the room?
I don't know, you can ask, but it's about the size of our water bottles. It literally is about that thick.
I mean, you've got to work up to it.
Absolutely.
They were like, Is Girth Master bi or pan or anything?
He's straight.
Okay, yeah.
There's so many guys who are asking him to do content with men, and he's like, it wouldn't be natural.
It wouldn't be natural.
feel
and
authentic.
Also, yeah, wow,
So-
wow.
Oh, here we go. Here's the Girth Master.
Knock at the
I don't know if you guys heard that, guys. That's Girth Master. We will be censoring this, so sorry, internet, but Hayley gets to see him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a whole
Yep.
sausage roll.
Yep.
Whoa. Because he did a mold for it, right?
Yeah. That's an actual life-size mold of Girth Master.
Great veins. Sorry, I'm a bit
No.
I'm a bit out of breath. Yeah, 2.5 hands. Okay, I can't even get my fingers around it. Okay. Okay, so I don't think Long Schlong was Girth Master girth.
Yep, fair enough.
But he definitely wasn't lacking.
Yeah. I mean, look, Girth Master is a...
He's a master.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a deep breath.
Yeah.
Is he circumcised?
I don't know. We haven't asked.
Hard to tell.
At least I haven't been in the meeting, so I literally haven't asked.
Yeah.
We could ask one of our merch team. One of our merch team is very, very keen on following his work.
So am I now. Wow. Look at me. What a lucky girl. What a lucky girl.
Okay, I was going to ask what are the biggest challenges you faced in the last 2 years, but I think we've got some there.
Gosh.
What have you noticed about the differences between Australia and New Zealand? Or the similarities? Anything that stands out?
I don't notice any immediately. My kind of gut instinct is actually that Australia's slightly more conservative.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, tell me about that.
I just feel like the response I get from people in Aussie, and this is just direct to me, so this is not anything to really go by.
Yeah.
But I feel like, I mean, it's just because I live in New Zealand, right? So I get approached all the time about the thing, and we get messages all the time about like, oh my God, we went to this thing, we tried this thing, da-da-da. Put that down. So you're not just following a blur spot around me the whole time. I get a lot of like very open women in particular I'm talking about.
Oh, honestly, women talk more than men do.
Oh my God.
All the time. Like,
yeah. And the moment you open the conversation for them, they're just like, oh my God, let me tell you
I'll tell you a
everything.
story about the Australian Open shortly, but anyway.
Okay,
Yeah.
I love this. Yeah, I mean, that's just my gut instinct, but I just need to spend more time over in Australia.
Sure.
And I mean, I did look up if there were any undie parties on while I was here. And I think there's like a couple, and I was like, maybe.
I know a few people in the scene who you might not know. So I'll look them up and see if they're running anything, and I'll
yes,
DM
please.
you.
Because it is interesting in New Zealand. I was at the undie party, as I say, sloshed, naked, all that. And I remember walking past and someone goes, oh, Hayley Sproull. And I was like, no. No. I'm like wet with sweat.
my God, that's
I'm like
amazing.
feeling all hot and stuff. So being anonymous in Australia would be quite nice.
Well, we will make sure you get there before this goes out.
Before this goes viral.
So, big question, we did talk about it in our Sex.Life Season 3.
I'm not allowed to talk about it yet, but if I was, I would say Morgan's been on a series of journeys. So season 1, we see her going through the sex school and kind of discovering like, what is that all about? Season 2, we see her checking out the sexual landscape of New Zealand and, you know, having a little go at everything. Season 3 is about Morgan and her quest, her ultimate quest for love. All through her very kind of wild...
So long schlong cowboy and now...
Long schlong cowboy, what's missing? Why isn't it happening? Where did it all begin? Like, how did this relationship to sex start for her?
Yeah.
How did this relationship to love start? Who did she first fall in love with? Who did she first fuck? How well did it all go?
Yeah.
So we kind of go back to the beginning while Morgan tries to figure out why has she not found her person?
Yeah. That is going to be a very, very interesting journey. I look forward to that. Where can people find you on social media to keep up with what you're doing?
I'm at Hayley Sproull on Instagram.
Yep.
Trying TikTok. Well, TikTok's hard.
TikTok's really hard.
I get on the feed and it doesn't make sense to me. Where are the tabs? Where are my things?
Like,
No, it's a doom scroll.
yeah, I love it.
Yeah, oh my God.
You can listen to Sex.Life anywhere that you get your podcasts. You can listen to FVHZM, that's my other podcast. Or I have a website. I know. How fancy am I? HayleySproull.com.
Fantastic.
Two Y's in Hayley, 2 L's in Sproull.
Yeah, don't mess that up because we had a bunch of email issues where we were missing an L and it
2 L's
didn't
in
go
Sproull.
through. It's like, why isn't it coming? And then I remember
You were like, check spam, and I was like, I've checked spam.
yeah, and then I looked at it and I went, wait, your name there, there's an L missing?
Yeah. 2 Y's in Hayley, 2 L's in Sproull. HayleySproull.com. I'm around for a bit. I'm going all across New Zealand soon and Australia, so.
And if you have any interesting kink parties that Hayley might be interested in attending, please let us know.
DMs.
Absolutely.
See you on FetLife. You can come to my house if you want, knock on my door, you wouldn't be the first.
Please don't do that.
Someone did. They made a gag, and I thought the gag was good.
Yeah.
We had a hand-delivered letter in our mailbox one day, and it said, I'd love to Hayley Sproull you across the bed.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
The best bit was, this guy left his number and address and full name. And we were like, how did he get my number? So we're sitting in this beanbag. My partner goes, a couple of weeks had passed. He was like, look, we got this thing. I didn't want to tell you at the time. Didn't want to freak you out. And I was like, oh. So Aaron, we just sat there. We had a couple of glasses of wine. Aaron just rings him.
Oh my God.
Hey, mate. This is Aaron, Hayley Sproull's partner. And the guy's like, oh, yeah, oh. What, like, what were you What's going to happen? Yeah, we've just received an interesting letter in our mailbox. He just like rips into him and is like, I don't think that's really on.
God.
And Aaron was like, where did you get our address? He's like, oh, the electoral roll.
Oh God.
So I'm not on that anymore, by the way.
Oh, that's...
Yeah, my work removed it.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
I know.
And also freaky.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, he was, didn't want to mean any harm. He just...
Yeah.
Yeah, and he just wanted to do a good, like, sex
Yeah.
Hayley Sproull joke.
So note out there, guys, you can't do that anymore. It's been done.
Yeah, that's
It's
actually
no
done.
longer original.
And you can't find it on the New Zealand electoral roll anymore, thank God.